The awakening ceremony is concluded. Your results have been registered with the National Hunter Bureau. Your new lives begin now. Dismissed. The words were a starting pistol. For Kangdae and the other high-ranking awakeners, it was a race towards fame and fortune. For Muyeong, it was a signal to disappear. "And where do you think you're going, chef?" Kangdae asked with a smug tone. Muyeong froze, his entire body tensing. "I was just leaving," Muyeong stammered weakly, his voice reedy. Kangdae mocked him, saying, "Not so fast. I just wanted to offer some friendly advice. My family has a stake in a few high-end restaurants. They're always looking for dishwashers. With your talent, you might even work your way up to peeling monster yams. It's a better fate than ending up as a smear in a dungeon, right?" The group snickered. "You should be grateful, traitor. Lord Kangdae is showing you mercy," Chol said, mocking. "Thank you. Thank you for your consideration," Muyeong replied, his voice forced. Kangdae shoved Muyeong forward. "Good. Know your place. Now get out of my sight. The sight of you is ruining my big day," Kangdae said, dismissively. Muyeong stumbled away, not daring to look back. He kept his head down, hurried, the very picture of a humiliated boy fleeing his tormentors. A woman in a gray bureau uniform watched the scene for a fraction of a second before disappearing into the city. Once outside in the bustling city, Muyeong's demeanor changed. His shoulders straightened and his eyes sharpened. He replayed the confrontation, analyzing Kangdae's arrogance and Chol's lack of independent thought. He navigated the city's central district, unnoticed, where maglev vehicles hummed silently past glittering towers. Here, people looked at his cheap academy uniform and averted their gaze with disdain. He was a piece of trash, marring their perfect view. He ignored them, his focus already miles away. As he moved towards the outer districts, the city began to decay. The gleaming towers gave way to rust-stained apartment blocks, the silent maglevs to rattling, fume-belching buses. The clean air became thick with the smell of industrial waste and cheap, greasy food. This was his world. He arrived at a crumbling brick tenement, climbed 4 flights of rickety stairs, and entered his room. It was little more than a closet, a thin mattress on the floor, a single flickering light bulb, and a small desk covered with old, hand-drawn maps of the city center. He locked the door, and the mask of Muyeong, the pathetic failure, fell away completely. His eyes, now cold and utterly ruthless, stared at the map. His finger traced the heavily fortified district that housed the Hunter Bureau headquarters. Hana, he whispered the name glimpsed on her ID when she'd briefly interacted with a proctor. Bureau of Surveillance, Section 7. Touching a trained agent from a top-secret intelligence division was borderline suicide. A direct approach was impossible. He couldn't just walk up to her. She would sense his intent a mile away. Following her was just as risky. He was Muyeong, the city's most recognizable pariah. His presence anywhere near the Bureau headquarters would trigger immediate alarms. He needed to find a vulnerability, a gap in her armor, a place where she dropped her guard, even for a moment. For the next 3 days, Muyeong lived a double life. By day, he was a ghost, haunting the edges of the central district. He used public library terminals to pull up any non-classified information on Bureau personnel transit routes, which was almost nothing. He spent hours watching the main entrance of the Bureau headquarters from the roof of a building 3 blocks away, using a pair of cheap, low-grade binoculars. He tracked shift changes, vehicle movements, and patrol patterns. Hana was a professional. She never took the same route home twice. She never lingered. She moved with an efficient, almost paranoid purpose that made a tale impossible. He saw other agents stop for coffee or chat with street vendors. Not Hana. She was a machine. But on the 4th day, Muyeong found it. It wasn't a grand mistake. It was a tiny, human detail. For 12 minutes every day, between 12:30 and 12:42, Hana would leave the fortress-like bureau building, not from the main entrance, but from a small, unmarked side door. She would then walk 4 blocks into a crowded, chaotic market district and slip into a tiny, grimy noodle stall. The place was a hive of activity. Steam billowed from boiling pots, the owner screamed orders, and patrons were crammed elbow to elbow at greasy tables. It was loud, chaotic, and dirty. The last place one would expect to find a disciplined agent. It was the perfect urban camouflage. In a place where everyone was bumping into everyone else, an accidental touch was not just possible, it was inevitable. That evening, Muyeong did not look at his map. He stood before the noodle stall, hidden in the shadows of the alley across from it, the evening crowd bustling around him. He watched the busboys, harried and overworked, rushing in and out with tubs of dirty dishes. His eyes narrowed. A plan, cold, precise, and incredibly dangerous, began to crystallize in his mind. He wasn't just going to get a new skill, he was going to earn it. The price of admission would be immersing himself in the very filth everyone believed he belonged in. He turned away from the stall, a predatory glint in his eyes. The hunt had officially begun.